All right, this is my Math Lab 2.8, number 8. All right, so it says give the center and the radius of the circle, then use the graph to identify the relations domain and range. So x squared plus y squared equals 36. What is the center of the circle? So remember, x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared, right? The center is h, k, and then r is the radius, right? So what's being subtracted from x and y here, right? Well, h is 0 and so is k, right? Nothing's being subtracted. So the center of the circle is going to be 0, 0, all right? The center of the circle, and I'm going to go ahead and talk about it. I don't know if it's the next question, but look, 36 is my r squared, right? So if r squared equals 36, then what does r equal? 6, right? Technically, it's plus or minus, but radius is a distance, so we can disregard the negative. So we know the center is 0, 0, and the radius is 6, right? We're given 36 in the formula, but the formula has r squared, right? So then r must be 6. So when I click, it's going to go away. Pause it if you need to, but we're going to put in 0, 0 for my ordered pair for the center here. So we're going to have open parenthesis, 0, 0, close parenthesis, and check it. Excellent. All right. And let's see if the next question asks us what the radius is. There it is. The radius of the circle is 6, right? We already found that. We're going to check that. Boom. Fantastic. All right. Fantastic. So now it says use the graphing tool to graph the circle. My guess is for those who ask about this, this is probably the first issue you encountered. The domain and range might be the next, but this is probably the first one because graphing on this is interesting sometimes. So click to enlarge the graph. All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm graphing a circle, right? So I'm going to choose the icon. See the top row of 3, the next row of 3, the second row of 3, the one on the right now has that black box around it. It's a circle. I'm going to choose that. So then I'm going to click over here for the center is 0. See how it has the 2 blue dots? So I'll click the center 0, 0, and then I'm going to pick to the right the radius, and the radius is 6. So I'm going to come all the way out to 6 and tap again, and there's my circle. Okay, and if you notice, my center is not in the right place. So I'm going to drag my center over to the middle, all right, and it moved it to the center, and it also changed my radius. Now I'm going to change my radius back to 6. Why is it not moving? Let me think about this for a second. It may be it's moving the whole thing. All right, so let's clear it. Let's clear the object. We're going to try the circle again. It didn't like what I did, so I'm going to try to get a little closer to the center and tap 6. And that time, it left it at 0 and then 6 for my center. It actually looks like it's slightly off. So let's save it and see, because if you notice here, right, if I look at this right here, this looks a little off to me, okay? It looks like my center is a little bit to the left, and it may just be the calibration of my pen here, but it sure looks like that. So let's click it and see. Let's see what it says. It may tell us no. It may tell us it's no good. Oh, it says fantastic. All right, so we'll take it. So I don't know why it wouldn't let me drag the center over or the point to the right and fix the radius earlier. But if not, just clear it and make sure that when you tap on it, you're very, very precise on clicking the origin or the center, and then just check it whenever it pops up. All right, so now the domain and the range. If you recall, the domain is all the what? The x values, right? So this is your x-axis running this way, right? So you go from here to here. What are those values? It's from -6 to what? 6. Your domain runs from -6 to 6. And look, while we're talking about it, on the y, what would my range run from up and down, right? It goes from 6 down to -6. So my range also goes from -6 to 6, right? And my domain on the x's does the same thing, right? So you tell me, do I put brackets here with these 6's and -6's, or parentheses, or does one get one and something gets the other? You know, Well, do we include those values? Yes, my circle goes to 6 and -6. It goes up to 6 and down to -6. So it's going to include the endpoints on the domain and range here. Okay? It's going to include those endpoints. So both my domain and my range are going to be -6 to 6. Now, this is not a function, right, because it doesn't pass the vertical line test. But it is still a relation and it has a domain and a range. So it's going to go away. All my writing's going to go away, but -6, 6 with brackets. So you can choose your bracket on the keyboard, or you can go pick it. I think under more it's there, but I'm going to use the one on the keyboard that's right above the enter key, or right beside the P. All right, open in -6, 6 and close the bracket, and then let's check the answer and see what happens. It says fantastic. And then, of course, it asks for the range, right? Oh, and when I clicked on it, it hid it. So let's pull it up here, all right? And it doesn't like me clicking in it. So let's go over here and click in it with the mouse. All right, so bracket, -6, 6, close the bracket, check it, and voila, there it is, all right? So I don't think it asked for anything else. I think when I hit OK, it's going to go to a new problem. Let's see. All right, yep, it's done. We're done. All right, so hopefully that helps. I imagine the graphing was probably the first issue that many of you encountered, and then the domain and range, just reading it off the graph, but it's the endpoints are included on a circle, right? So then you have to use the brackets. Hope that